Good afternoon, sports fans. It's Hey Hey Sports once again, and today is the 30th of July, one day before the MLB trade deadline. But before we would start, as true sports fans, true Chicago sports fans, as my co-host even has the shirt on backwards, but he wanted to have it in the front side. Take a moment with the passing of Ryne Sandberg. Last couple days, if you watch Cub games, the last couple days, all the pregame stuff has been, about Sandberg. And what got me was kind of the deal was, they just opened up a statue. I believe it was this year, right?
I think it was last year.
Last year's statue, so it's only been a year. And, people going around Gallagher Way and taking a moment, putting roses, taking a moment of silence for, Ryne Sandberg. From time to time, I was a critic of Sandberg, but, you can't fault, I guess he's the most home runs by a second baseman, but the most important one of all his stats were, and I know he started in Philadelphia, so people don't chime in and say he was a Philly. He had 30 at bats, I think it was, in Philly, one a legit hit. But anyway, he played his entire major league baseball career with one team, and that was the Chicago Cubs. 16 years. He wasn't one of these guys jumping ship, going from place to place. Grace can't say that. Maddox can't say that. Dawson can't say that.
Anthony Rizzo can't say that.
Anthony Rizzo can't say that. So there's some Cub lore that are just royalty. But Sandberg played, his entire season with the Chicago Cubs. So, and even last night, before the game, they hunted down Sean Dunston and made some comments. And boy, if you could turn a double play with Shawan Dunston, that's saying something, because you don't know what you're going to get out of Dunston defensively. And Mark Grace had to be the greatest Gold Glover at first base, because when Dunston threw the ball over there, you had no idea where the hell the ball was going. So a Cub legend is no longer at the age of 65, and some of the other Hall of Famers are outliving him. So,
St. Louis Cardinals also, they stopped the game to talk about the passing of Ryne Sandberg. So
yeah,
it's nice for them to do.
Yeah,
nice for them to do that.
Yeah, it was. But he was battling cancer. And they had Rick Sutcliffe on yesterday. I saw his interview and Costas' interview, and I didn't realize how close they were, but they said up until kind of the very end that they were in communication with his wife on kind of a daily basis. So the passing of a Chicago legend, okay? So with that being said, let's get into I don't want this to turn into another funeral, but the play of the Chicago Cubs as of late, they are now 2 games behind the Milwaukee Brewers. They are now the 4th playoff team. They are 1 game, as we post this, in front of the Philadelphia Phillies, and I believe 2.5 games in front of the San Diego Padres, which is the last playoff spot. Okay, they are 2.5 games from being the last playoff spot in, and then the Reds, I think, are behind them, which is about 4.5 game difference. The Chicago Cubs now, in their own division, at one time they had a 6.5 game lead. They are 2 behind. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I know 6.5 plus 2 equals 8.5. The Cubs have now blown in 8, basically have dropped 8.5 games in 9 weeks. Okay? And
And they may even blow more due to the wild card seeding.
They might. It would. I mean,
That's 11 games at least.
to think that they might be the last team in battling.
Oh, you got standings.
Got to look in the stats right now. Battling for the last playoff spot when all we've been told. And again, we live and breathe Chicago Cubs here at the mansion. We support the White Sox. Okay, I'm wearing the Cub garb. Okay, but they have dropped 8.5 games, and all we've been hearing about is
how good and how wonderful that they are. They don't
run differential.
They had the best record in the National League. As if that means anything anymore.
The guy who plays center field has the highest WAR in the National League.
He's hitting 204 against left-handed pitching.
Say that again.
Pete Crow Armstrong is hitting 204 against left-handed pitching, and he hits 233 on the road.
And
he hits great against right-handed pitching, and he hits great at Wrigley Field. Does hit good against left-handed pitching.
The difference between his total hits and strikeouts is 7. I believe it was 103 strikeouts and 110 hits.
And he's been stuck on 27 home runs.
Okay. Oh, and last night he was 1 for 2 because he had a sac fly which bailed him out, but it was an out. Let's call it what it was. It was an out, but it was a sac fly.
Dansby Swanson's batting average, running and scoring position, is atrocious. Also,
it's less than 180 now.
I read a stat. When Dansby Swanson is in a 3-2 count, more than 50%, he strikes out more than 50% when he's in a 3-2 count.
I have no idea what the hell Nico Horner is hitting 7th. I mean, he has 14 pitch at-bats. He battles at the plate. He's fouling off and fouling off and fouling off.
He led the entire team in hits last year, and they spent the whole offseason having him in trade conversations to Seattle. If they did trade him, then they really would be 11 games back.
And now we are getting closer to 50 games to play than 60. Okay? And before you know it, I believe next week they play the Reds and Milwaukee again.
And they play Milwaukee in a doubleheader too.
Okay. Well, they got the Orioles this weekend.
Yeah.
And then I believe it's Milwaukee in a 4-game, followed by the Reds. The Reds are that 7th place team hovering. But if the Cubs were to slip today and against Baltimore and maybe slip to that 6th spot, and the Reds are right behind them, and they're playing a series. I think, and they got 2 series with the Reds, one at the end of the year. I mean, it's going to be sweating time.
They also play the Cardinals around that time too.
And I don't want to take credit, but again, I've been on this. I've watched more Cub games than just about anybody, and and everybody who's not a true Cub fan would tell me, "Oh, the Cubs are relax. It's not even August yet."
No, it isn't.
And when September comes, that's when they even crumble even more.
2023. They had the 95% chance in September, going into September, of a 95% playoff rating. Tell me, how great did the 2023 Cubs do in the postseason? Oh wait, I forgot, they didn't make it.
They have won, I think a report was they got one playoff win after 2016.
That was 2017.
That's the only win.
Right.
Okay.
2018, they gagged. They were stuck in a do or die wild card game. Essentially, they lost that. Then they had to play another wild card game. They lost that. And then 2019, they missed playoffs altogether. 2020, 60-game schedule. They win division. They get smoked in 2-game playoff, two playoff games against Miami. They trade everybody away the next year, and then now here we are.
Aurelio's Pizza. It's the sauce, ladies and gentlemen. But we are at, and they steal bases and he hit home runs and all his.
That doesn't mean anything if you don't make postseason.
And undisclosed details, but Jed Hoyer just this past weekend got a contract extension.
Boo.
We don't know the details.
Boo. Boo.
Okay. And they were kind of saying, that Jed got Suzuki, and Suzuki got a hit last night, but I think he was 3 for those last 35. But he's stuck on 81 RBIs for an awfully long time. Okay. And Jed's responsible for him. Jed's responsible for Dansby Swanson's contract.
Kyle Tucker is hitting 208 in the last 30 games.
I was watching the game and I didn't realize this, but Christian Yelich has a higher batting average. He has more home runs, and I think there's a difference of 4 or 6 RBIs with Kyle Tucker. And Kyle Tucker, at the beginning of the year, was talking he wanted $600 million. And
Cubs fans were just saying, give
everybody,
give it to him.
And prior to us coming on, we just saw we wanted to be for sure, we saw a Chicago podcast host that was once on the Marquee, who's no longer there for whatever the reason is. But he backs up the truck an awful lot too. Early on, he was like, "We got to sign King Tut," and now, right before we got on the air here, he's like, "How can you pay him $400 million?" People, you cannot be wishy-washy. Again, that's the Cardinal stuff. They are wishy-washy. You got to stick to your guns. If you love the Cubs, you love the Cubs. But be honest with the Cubs. You can't sit around.
There's nothing wrong in this. I've gotten so many arguments about this. Even 10 years ago, almost basically at this point. Because 10 years ago, it was the dream team. It was the team that everybody always wanted to see. It was Kyle Schwarber and Bryant and Rizzo and Baez and Wilson Contreras. And what's the lineup?
Moses Ballesteros is the DH today.
Bush is at batting off, leadoff, Tucker, Suzuki, Kelly.
I don't see Hap. I don't see Hap. Hap took one off the knee yesterday. Hap's no longer. He's not in the lineup today. Maybe because Hap's not doing real well.
Matt Shaw's batting ninth.
Okay. Moses Ballesteros is up. Okay. Why not just go out and trade and get a major league player and put him as a DH?
They're not going to make a trade. I don't think they're going to make a trade at all of any kind. We got only 1 day left.
We are at the 24-hour
You got
mark.
1 day left. They're not going to make a trade at all.
They probably, nothing of impact. Because the problem is all these other teams, even that team west of the Mississippi, is only 3.5 out of the last wild card team spot. So many teams are not mortgaging the farm as everybody thinks. It's going to be so easy.
You could have got Naylor for nothing, and you could have moved Michael Busch to third.
Okay.
You need a third baseman. Michael Busch plays third.
Okay.
He came up as a third baseman in the Dodger system.
But now I don't know if it's a pitching because I'm watching these games. And you're getting double-digit strikeouts. I think last night they struck out 13 times. The night before they struck out 14 times. I'm not too sure. Pitching is a problem. But if you're striking out as often as the Cubs, there's only, 27 outs.
Oh, but they got this great
in a baseball game.
Oh, but they got some great offense.
And if you're striking out 14 out of 27, that's 50% that you're striking out.
And they strike. It's bad strikeouts. They don't battle. Like some of them strike out looking. A lot of them strike out looking.
I think I saw the one with the guy that I criticize the most.
Say his name. Say it.
Well, Armstrong. Okay, I'm trying to get away from just acknowledging him with initials because that's what he wants. and he stopped at a lemonade stand and gave these girls some money and got photos, and yay, nice guy. He stopped at a lemonade stand in a corner somewhere. Do you know about that story?
Yeah, it was all over TikTok.
Big
all
deal.
Over Instagram.
Big deal. Okay. All right. But then does that give him the idea to throw the hat, throw the helmet? Oh, it's all the mumbo jumbo. But anyway, I believe with his strikeouts of his 101, I said, or 103.
It's 103.
103. I believe 10% of them are looking. You're the cleanup hitter. You're going down looking, and then we got this commercial, the Imanaga commercial.
He was your. This is it. This, technically speaking, this is just 1 year of a half of him. He hasn't even finished year number 2 yet. And Cubs fans and the Cubs organization, they put him on a pedestal already. And now, can we say it that commercial of him singing in the shower, it's not flattering and it kind of makes him look like an idiot?
We're going to see what they're going to do against the Brewers, but he got pummeled against the White Sox.
He did, a bad White Sox team.
Okay. So now the question is,
And he was one of those other many starters who got hurt, got injured.
Now we're getting into, Taillon had a oblique. I don't know what his injury. He's not coming back. He's not scheduled to come back until August.
When in August?
I know. And we keep hearing he's pitching off the mound. Well, where the hell do you pitch from? You do pitch off the mound.
Yeah.
That's where you pitch from.
There's a mound in the bullpen, too.
And they go, well, he had a mound. He had a mound performance today. Okay.
In what category? In what degree? In what standard?
No. Chris Flexen, they DFA'd him. The poor guy would bail a team out. He bailed about 40 pitches.
That's bad. I don't agree with that.
And then he got rocked against the Brewers the other day.
Okay, but
then it was see you later.
Okay, but here's my thing. You need pitching, so now you're just going to DFA pitching right before you go into August and September. I think that's a bad idea.
Now Freddie Peralta's pitching today against Imanaga.
And you know what? I am more concerned the fact that they can't even get sac flies. They can't hit sac flies from third in the ways that people think that they do. They don't really hit behind the runners. Oh, but they hit all these home runs. If they don't hit a home run, this entire Cub team, this entire season, they've been feast and famine. If they don't hit 5 home runs in a game, they don't win.
I've seen more attempted bunts in this series by the Brewers than what the Cubs have attempted all year long. Let me repeat that. 2 games against the Brewers. I've seen the Brewers attempt more bunts, whether they're sacrifices, safety squeezes, suicides, more than the entire Cubs team in over 100 games.
And the fact that this Milwaukee team, other than the 3 guys that I know firsthand off the top of my head, this Milwaukee team won 11 games in a row.
They just ran the starting lineup, and everybody's big on OPS. They didn't have one guy in the starting lineup that was in the 800s. Cubs have 5.
That's not good.
So, but in the world of Brian Kenny, okay?
That's not good.
But if you throw the Brian Kenny in there, if you got all these guys with 800 and these guys over here with 700, who should win? The 800s or the 700s?
The 800s.
The 800s. Brian Kenny, 880.
No, but everybody gets all, it's like OPS of 800. That's not good. That's marginal at best. Even, you want that to be upwards to 1,000, close to 1,000.
This is, and for people to say, hey, it's not even the trade deadline, don't worry about it.
Yes, it is.
No. Because if we were doing this show tomorrow, 4 teams probably will have an impact trade somewhere along the line.
And I bet
the Cubs are going to be looking around going, geez, you know what? We gotta cart out Ben Brown tomorrow. we got to have a bullpen day because we don't have that 5th starter.
They're not going to. I have a bet, a $4 bet with a friend
$4, don't go.
I don't think that they're gonna make.
Is that all the money you got?
Well,
are you limited?
No, it's a it's a $4 Budweiser beer.
Okay.
That's what it is. But it's because that was Harry Carey's favorite beverage. But I told him I don't think they're gonna make a trade at all. And everyone looked at me like I was crazy. I don't think they're going to make a trade at all.
I think Imanaga has a man bun going today instead of the mullet. I think that's...
Oh, that's going to help him win.
Yeah. And they're showing pictures of Moses Ballesteros. Wasn't he up originally?
He was.
He had a cup of coffee this year because...
He was.
Because King Tut was out for a week, wasn't it?
Well, you know what? And I hate to be this guy because, if you make a trade, you have to give up something. And I'm tired of Cubs fans crying about the Gleyber Torres situation because you gave up him to get Chapman and then you won a World Series. Was that the only reason you won the World Series? No. But if you make a trade, you got to give up something.
Is Ballesteros left-handed or right-handed?
That's a good question. I don't really know.
I got to see that. Because if he's a right-handed hitter, okay, and then you got Turner on the bench, who's not very good. Why then are you bringing up Ballesteros when you got Turner on the bench and he's AAA and Turner is didn't he?
Because that shows that you
World Series MVP.
Because you don't have anybody.
Because you don't have anybody.
You don't got anybody. You don't have anybody in South Bend. You don't have anybody in Tennessee. You don't have anybody in Des Moines, Iowa.
And you're not happy with Birdie and Vidal.
You're certainly not happy with Matt Shaw, considering you weren't playing him most of the year.
Yeah. I think Ballesteros is DHing for Happ because I don't know what the Happ situation is.
And no one's talking about the catching situation, and everyone's just assuming Amaya is going to come back.
He was 2 for 4 in a simulated game yesterday.
What is it? MLB The Show on the PlayStation 5?
Yeah, I think that's where you're in the backyard and somebody throws live and they say, well, you hit the ball, that's a single.
Because, Carson Kelly, I've made the comparison to him and Scott Hatteberg because Hatteberg was originally a catcher. But when the Oakland A's got Scott Hatteberg, they did not know who the hell he was. You cannot tell me.
But I think Hatteberg came from Boston before that.
Yeah, he did. That's my point.
Okay.
Because no one knew. You can't tell me that no one in their right mind, even you're a Cub fan, I'm a Cub fan. We live and die off this team. Did you have any idea who the hell Carson Kelly was before the season?
No, because prior to that, I believe he was in a Cardinal organization, so I really don't give a damn about that.
No, but
no, I didn't.
Did you ever see him play for the Cardinals?
No.
Reese McGuire, they got because he had PR public, situations I'm not going to reference. You could just Google that. But they got him for the cheap for nothing because of that. They got Carson Kelly because he's a no-name guy and his family's from the north side of Chicago and whatever. And he hit for the cycle in Sacramento.
But to their defense, their catching productivity is at the top of the heap in the National League.
Yeah, but what happens when Amaya comes back?
They got something about Happ here. I don't... Burheim is designated for assignment? Bruhan, designated for assignment. So they recalled Ballesteros and they DFA'd Vidal Sassoon.
Carter Hodge reinstated from the IL.
Okay. Vidal Sassoon, and that's a shampoo reference. Vidal, the only other guy I ever heard had a name called Vidal was Vidal Sassoon.
No, but my problem is it's when Amaya comes back, what's going to happen behind home plate? Because they get all that time and money invested into him, they're not going to just not play him.
They're going to wait September 1st, and I think that's when they have a 40-man roster.
Yeah.
And they'll carry 3 catchers because you can go 40-man roster. Up until then, I don't see him coming back until September 1 when he increases the 40-man roster.
And I don't want to see Ian Happ do a podcast when he's hitting below 250.
We'll get back to the catcher thing because McGuire's lefty. Kelly's righty, so they're playing based on whoever's
I
pitching.
think McGuire is right-handed.
No, McGuire's left-handed.
Okay.
Okay. And Kelly's right-handed. So they'll carry the 3 catchers. Okay. They'll carry the 3 catchers. They're not going to bring Amaya in and have to dump somebody. Because if they're going to dump somebody, the next man to be dumped is Birdie. And they got to keep him around because he's the freak show when they've been getting blown out.
Oh, yeah.
They
put him on the mound.
He comes in the mound, you know.
They put him on the mound, and that's a great, wonderful little thing. Yeah. Oh, yay.
And they had a joke the other day. Well, if the Cubs come back, John Birdie will get the win here. And they were after they were getting crushed.
We were at the game when Jeff Baker got the win, and you made the comment to him
the day after because we had 2 games in a row.
Well, yeah, no, because it's you said, "Hey, Jeff Baker for Cy Young," and he turned around.
Yeah.
And it's like you could just like look into his eyes, and it looked like he had he never slept at all.
Yeah.
And he looked like kind of angry and pissed.
Yeah, but he was 1-0. He got the best record in the National League. But yeah, so that they'll do now. How are they going to rotate those guys in? I have no idea. If they keep... Wait a minute. Somebody just went yard already.
Bush went yard already.
There you go. 1 swing in the bat. Cubs are winning right now, 1-0.
Okay, but they gotta sustain this.
Okay. Yeah.
This is a game you need to win.
But I believe the Cubs have had the lead in the first 2 games against Milwaukee.
Yeah, and they regretted not scoring more than 3 runs.
So, the Cubs are up 1-0 in a game in which they have to win. And I don't buy this, why are you putting all these guys in because it's a matinee, it's a getaway day. No, right now, on any major league team, your starters have to keep playing.
Yeah, but you also got to shake up the lineup every now and then, too. I mean, if something ain't working.
Okay, so... Getting back, so with that being said, the Cubs are hanging on, and we're going to probably change gears here a little bit, and then we're going to...
Are there any news on the Chicago Bears?
The last news I heard was, and they made a big deal of this, they had one-on-ones the other day, and I keep the guy with the initials. I keep forgetting his name.
DJ Moore, wide receiver.
Yeah.
Is that DJ Moore?
Yeah, DJ Moore.
Is that who you're thinking of?
They made a big deal on DJ Moore beating Stevenson in one-on-one routes, and finally Wonder Boy threw a 40-yard pass, and they completed it against Stevenson.
Stevenson's not a good corner. He's not a good defensive back.
All of a sudden, all the tweets went out, and it's like the Bears have solved their passing game.
Stevenson sucks. Stevenson is solely he is my most hated Chicago Bear. He was single-handedly responsible for the snafu in the Hail Mary game against Washington. And then after that, the entire season went to shit.
Well, you saw that play. There were a lot of bodies out there.
I know.
He was pointing the fingers as he was getting it and at the people, and when he was going out to his position, the next thing you know, the play was going on. He was probably very late in where he needed to be. They threw the Hail Mary. He caught it.
Yeah, I know we laugh at Bill Belichick now because of UNC, and it's not really that. It's more so because of his relationship. But if Bill Belichick had a guy like that do that, is he not going to cut him? If Urban Meyer had a guy like that at Florida or Ohio State back in the day, would he not cut him?
Okay, but now stick to your guns here, because we don't know what this guy's going to do. Because you were all over, and you were so negative about the last regime and every coach and every coaching staff?
Yeah, I was.
Okay.
Yes, I was.
So they're gone.
Yeah, I was.
They're gone.
I was.
Okay. Those people are gone.
Well, there's one common denominator right now.
And you believe...
Well, technically there's two.
And you do believe Mr. Sizzle is going to take care of all the problems.
No. I never said Ben Johnson is going to save the day. I never said that. You know what? I wanted Pete Carroll.
You did want Pete Carroll.
I wanted Pete Carroll.
I'm gonna document that right now.
I wanted Pete Carroll.
The man, as the man to my left, wanted Pete Carroll.
I did.
He did.
I did.
But the guy to my left has never really. Have never really heard him be beyond negative of Ben Johnson. But he has said that Ben Johnson in that first press conference was Nagy 2.0.
No, I never said that. I said it's worse than Nagy.
Because he made the reference,
Because when he...
to the Thunderbirds.
And thank God he said the word Thunderbirds and not Thunderbolts as in the Marvel movie, because people really would have been clowning him. No. You drafted Caleb Williams, and at no point did you ever hire Cliff Kingsbury. And I know that you don't like Cliff Kingsbury because of, what was it, the Arizona college football team or whatever it was?
Cliff Kingsbury was the head coach.
For the Cardinals, for the NFL Cardinals.
NFL Cardinals, and he was a dope.
Okay. Well,
everything was a joke, and he made his living showing his Malibu house in Sports Illustrated or whatever, and he was like drinking coffee, and he was more concerned about being the Hollywood starlet than being the coach of the NFL Arizona Cardinals, and he got whacked.
Okay, but my point is you draft Caleb Williams.
Pete Crownstein would have hit.
And at no point did you ever hire Cliff Kingsbury when they had that great working relationship. That's actually the one only real time where a quarterback really did have a great working relationship.
Because after Kingsbury got whacked in the NFL, he became Lincoln Riley's offensive coordinator. And who was the quarterback for said team?
Caleb Williams.
And the Bears decided, we're not going to take him.
And they had him in the building for like 5 hours.
But nobody knows if Kingsbury backed. We don't know if there was ever an offer or Kingsbury just backed out.
The real guy that they needed to get, and they didn't do it, was Jim Harbaugh, and they didn't do it because the great Kevin Warren.
Okay.
The great Kevin Warren.
Harbaugh would have. You know what? Even if the Bears went 7-10, which I think they might do, or 6-11, if they had Harbaugh running the show at 6-11, things would still be wonderful.
And you know what?
Because you had Harbaugh.
And you know what? What was Jim Harbaugh? And you called in a 670 to the score, and this was one of the first things you said that year. When Harbaugh came, what was the first thing he did for the Chargers? Keenan Allen, gone. 35, 36 plus something. Wide receiver, gone. Went to the Bears on a 1-year contract. And what did the Bears do? Oh, yeah, they only won 5 games.
This nonsense.
And then Keenan Allen was gone.
And we should have our stat sheet here. But, the meatheads out there go, well, the Bears got to have weapons and weapons and weapons. It all starts with the 5 fat guys up front. From tackle to tackle. And the people that the Bears have passed up as linemen in replaced for weapons on the outside, the Bears have passed up. And I got that list, and we'll do it.
That's our next episode.
And I can double back. And the first thing Harbaugh did was, you know what? I'm canning people. And you know what? Joe Alt, offensive tackle, Notre Dame, That's who I'm drafting.
And you know what? I know he's not an offensive lineman, but you could have got Jalen Carter, too. Could have got Jalen Carter. I wanted Jalen Carter.
Another lineman.
And you didn't get him.
Another lineman.
And he won a Super Bowl.
But you know what? They had to get weapons for the past Wonder Boy.
Could have got Jalen Carter.
Did you see where...
I wanted Jalen Carter.
Where they're saying Breece Hall for the Jets.
Who did they get?
They still said Fields might get more yards rushing than their number one running back, Breece Hall.
Yeah, I believe it because that's Justin Fields. He's not an NFL quarterback.
He's not an NFL quarterback. He's an athlete.
He's not an NFL quarterback. No. Justin Fields played at not one, but two big-time perennial Power 5 schools in the Division I. Georgia and Ohio State. And when he was at Georgia, he couldn't even beat out Stetson Bennett or Jake Fromm.
Say those names again.
Stetson Bennett or Jake Fromm.
Couldn't beat them out, so he transfers.
And it wasn't it. And didn't Jake Fromm win a national title?
Stetson Bennett won 2.
Oh, even better. Stetson Bennett can do this show with us, and no one would know who the hell he is.
No. If he walked in and delivered the Aurelio's pizza, no one would.
He could be doing the Aurelio's ad. He could be doing that with us. No one would know who
he might be delivering pizzas. We don't know what he's doing for a living, but he could not even beat out.
And then when he was at Ohio State, and then when he was at Ohio State, he got replaced by the guy who's in Houston right now for the Texans. I don't know his name.
C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, C.J. Stroud. When C.J. Stroud was a freshman at Ohio State, he had better statistics than Justin Fields at Ohio State. That doesn't bother anybody. And C.J. Stroud, first year, he put up 5,000 yards with a rookie head coach as a rookie quarterback, made playoffs. In the NFL.
And when the Bears drafted Fields, everybody said all the problems.
Oh, that was the deal. No, come on. Everyone was getting excited for it, and people don't know why. People still didn't know why. And then when they made...
And the jersey that I wore on our last show with the big number 10, they couldn't wait to get him out of Dodge.
Well, you know what? And it's funny you say that, because what do they do in both off seasons? For the Mitch Trubisky year, they signed Mike Glennon from Tampa Bay, traded up, and they drafted Trubisky. Everyone got mad and angry about it. The year they got Fields, they picked up Andy Dalton in free agency, and they traded up and they got Justin Fields. No one got mad.
Did you ever think...
No one got angry.
Did you ever think how you're going to answer this question? What if Lovey didn't win that game?
No, I'd never even think, no.
What would the history be of the Chicago Bears? And only our smart viewers will understand that. Lovey with the Texans had to win a game for the Bears to get the number 1 pick.
Yeah. It was one of those seasons, yeah.
So what if Lovey didn't win that game? Lovey Smith, and when we say Lovey Smith, if you're not Lovey Smith, obviously is the third winningest coach in Chicago Bears history.
Other than Halas and Ditka, who else do they have? Jack Pardee?
And...
not who? Oh, God. Abe Gibron.
And Lovey won that game to allow the Bears to, be in the position they're in to get, and NFL football. There are games this weekend. There's these exhibition games or Hall of Fame games or I don't know, Sandlot games, Gatorade games, soap games, whatever the hell you want to call it. Meaningless games.
I'll still watch it.
Okay, from that angle. So. We're going to...
No, but, I mean,
Cubs are winning 1-0.
You raised an excellent point. If Lovie Smith and the Houston Texans did not win that football game, what's the
status...
What's the current juncture?
State of the Chicago Bears. If people are losing their minds now, and they've had back-to-back Wonder Boy quarterbacks, And don't say everybody didn't get excited about Fields.
Yeah, they did.
They did.
Oh, they did.
Holy hell, did they get excited?
670 the score. You can look this up right now. There's a video on their program when they got mad that the NFL and the NFL analysts ranked Justin Fields as a tier 4 quarterback. Not tier 1, tier 4. They were so offended, so angry that he was a tier 4 bottom of the barrel NFL QB. And you know what? He is. He is. Justin Fields played 30 games. He had 30 fumbles.
And with me, the jury's still out on
Caleb Williams?
the guy that paints his fingernails.
You know what? Caleb Williams is actually a pretty damn good quarterback, and people need to start supporting him. Caleb Williams had 20 touchdowns, only six interceptions. He threw over 3,000 yards. I think 3,500 yards to be exact.
So we should get an update. The Bears play next week. The Bears have a family fun day at Soldiers Field Sunday. And they're trying to promote everything, and then they go back to Hallis Hall. But our big thing today is, Cub fans stock up on the Pepto-Bismol and the stomach.
Get the old style ready.
Oh yeah, go down to 35th Street Red Hots. Maybe swing your analysis that way. But
they got hamburgers now.
They do. But that's about all the time we have now. We're going to watch the Cub game. Cubs are winning 1-0 in the bottom of the first. So until we see you again, hey sports.